do. When you were here last, you asked me a simple question. So, Will, what's next for you? What do you see yourself doing? What are you going to do? At the time, I didn't have an answer. Not a real one. I had fragments, half-formed thoughts, but nothing I could stand behind and call an answer. But today, something shifted. I've been working in Suno, remixing tracks, revisiting older pieces. One of them, White Collar Pimp, caught me the lyrics. True enough of who I've been, or at least who I was. And sitting with that, listening again and again, something came into focus. To answer your question, I have to bring in Caleb. I met Caleb in Atlanta. He was working at a vape shop. I walked in, saw his setup, Focusrite, Mac, editing gear, and struck up a conversation. He was doing video work, good work, real talent. I kept coming back, mostly to talk. Eventually, he started coming over Mondays, 4 o'clock. I don't remember inviting him. I don't remember deciding Monday was the day. He just showed up, and I let him. I would talk. He would sit and listen. And to him, at first, I sounded insane. He's told me that said there were nights he thought I'd lost my mind. Looked at the door more than once, just in case he needed to leave quickly. But then, later, sometimes years later, he'd call me. Dude, that thing you said? I thought you were crazy. But today, something happened, and now I get it. And it kept happening again and again. So over time, something built, not agreement, not belief, recognition. And now he's still there, not physically, but in contact. And not as a student anymore, not quite something closer to equal shared history does that. It levels things. Now he sends me audio, long reflections, and some of them stop me cold. He's deep in the Old Testament now, serious about it. Reading, thinking, speaking from it. I had a hand in that, small but real. There was a time he didn't want to hear anything about religion. Shut it down immediately. I sent him one lecture, just one told him, keep your mind open like you say you can. 2 days later, shift. Now his words, his direction, his actions, they line up, call it what you want, but it's consistent. So, Caleb, a real friend, my only one in that sense. And recently, he was talking about giving. Not casually, not as a slogan, but as a principle. That life to be lived properly requires giving. Not to hold everything to yourself is to diminish it. And that's what brought me back to your question. What am I gonna do? I thought before that I missed teaching. And that's true, but it's not quite right. What I miss is giving. Not giving things, not charity in that sense, not surface level generosity. I mean giving of myself, of what I see, of what I understand, of what I can do. If I can do anything at all. There's a kind of giving that isn't material. It's not transactional. It's not visible in the usual ways. It's the kind that happens when you speak something clearly enough that another person can use it, carry it, test it, return to it. That's what I miss. That's the teacher in me. Not an instructor, not someone delivering information, a teacher. And I don't think there's a higher occupation than that. Not because of status, not because of recognition, because it is the act of taking what has been given to you. To experience failure, time, and handing it forward in a way that might actually matter to someone else. So if I answer you now, cleanly, what do I want to do? I want to give again. And I want to do it in the only way I know how.